You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's a big world out there, and you're just looking for a pat on the back or head. You run around the city, searching for a place to bark, working your tail off with your nose to the ground, sniffing for a few scraps, hoping someone will throw you a bone. You take each lead, collar after collar, hoping one day to take a bite out of success and become the top dog. Fortunately, you come home each day to open arms, open cans, a drink waiting for you, and a comfortable place in front of the TV set. You know you've got it good, really good, because after all, it's a doggy dog world out there. Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with your host, pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Hi, welcome to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm your host, Liz Palaika, and with me today are my good friends Petra Burke, hello, and Kate Abbott.
Howdy.
And a couple months ago, we talked to you about the fact that we were going to be taking an RV trip with dogs. And we asked some of you to send in some suggestions. We didn't receive too many, so you're going to hear all about ours.
What we learned.
What worked. So hold on, we'll be right back, and we'll talk to you about our trip.
Sit. Stay. It's a Doggy Dog World. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Every pet is unique. Maybe they're gray in the muzzle, yet young at heart. Maybe they're growing out of the puppy stage and into their paws and ears. Or maybe they're just trying to maintain a more girlish figure. At PetSmart, we have the right food for your pet at a great value for you. PetSmart. Be better together.
Go to PetSmartDeal.com and save up to 30% on pawsome gifts for the pets and pet people in your life. Toys, collars, leashes, PetSmart gift cards, treats, and more. Go to PetSmartDeal.com today. PetSmartDeal.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. Recently, I purchased an RV. It was a used one, Class C, and we've been planning some trips ever since then. And we just got back this week from a 4-day trip, about 600 miles, which was a good test trip for us to see how everything worked. But 3 women and 7 dogs in one 29-foot RV. When we stopped and everybody got out, it did kind of look like a clown car.
And just watching people, it's like a double take. They watch, 1 or 2 people come out with a dog, and all of a sudden they're like, there's never-ending dogs. One after another.
And the variety.
Variety.
We had such a variety.
3 Australian Shepherds, an English Shepherd, a Pomeranian, a Cocker Spaniel, and a Jack Russell Terrier.
It was quite the variety, yes.
Yep.
Yes. So anyway, we want to talk a little bit about what we did to prepare for the trip, some of the things that we learned, some of the things that worked, some of the things we're going to do before our next trip.
Yeah.
And the first preparation, I think, was basically just introducing the dogs to the RV. We had them run in and out, sit while we sat in there and talked. We parked it here at the Kindred Spirits Training Yard a couple times and just let
on different days, different occasions, let the dogs explore.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
And then we took a test run.
Yeah,
a couple of hours.
Yeah, I was thinking about 2 hours.
And we celebrated by stopping at a parking lot and getting hamburgers and going back to the RV to eat them. Our first meal.
But it was we went from. Well, no, we took that curvy hill,
right?
So we got used to us driving it, how it handles, and the dogs getting used to the movement because it's very different.
Yes,
I mean it's
not like a car.
No, definitely not, and all the noise.
Right.
And going over some railroad tracks, I got a couple of woohoos
Yeah.
from the people as well as the dogs.
And then we got stuck in our first traffic jam, bumper to bumper traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
Which actually worked out pretty good because the dogs got a chance to calm down.
Right.
Until they looked out the window and saw the coyote.
Saw the
run by.
coyote, yeah.
And I thought they're probably thinking, cool, huge window, we can see everything. Look at that coyote. Because those two of our dogs were like laying right there on the bed.
The two smallest ones.
Uh-huh.
The
We're just
Pomeranian
checking
and the
out.
Jack Russell Terrier. The big dogs didn't get it at all, but the two smallest ones went, ooh!
So cool.
So after our test run and our first meal in the RV, then it was a matter of getting ready for the big trip. And some of the things that, well, first of all, blankets over all the upholstery.
Yes.
I mean, we are talking 7 dogs, and they're 7 well-behaved dogs, but we were going to the beach. So
And they're allowed on the
on the
furniture
sofa.
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
we don't want to ruin the furniture quickly.
not on the first
No,
trip.
no.
So I just got some inexpensive blankets and threw them over the furniture.
And they're all matching, so it looks really pretty.
Yeah, so it looks nice.
Yeah.
We got a non-spill travel bowl.
Yep.
And we learned that it does need to, the best place for it actually is in the shower. Because
shower.
although the non-spill bowl didn't spill, another one did, but not all the dogs drink neatly, and we ended up with some damp carpet under the non-spill bowl.
If you're not sure what a non-spill bowl is,
Oh.
it has 3 sections to it. So there's a regular bowl, and then there's like a funnel that fits into the bowl section, and then a lid on top of that. So you can have a lot of water in there, but the dogs go into the funnel and
Drink there.
drink there, and if there's excess, it sloshes back into the bowl, if that makes any
So
sense
it's
at all.
not an open bowl where the water is doing wave action back and
Yeah.
forth and back and forth.
It's a restricted
And,
lid.
and it worked really well. That itself didn't spill, but I think too many of the dogs were sloppy drinking. And we are talking 7 dogs. We also made sure we had crates available. We used the folding canvas type crates, and those were very nice because they did fold up, so we didn't have to have them out all the time. But our next trip's going to be 3,300 miles, and it is safer if the dogs are more confined. And I think that's a discussion we'll have to have as to whether we're going to take the cushions off the sofa and put crates up. We've done that before. Petra and I have traveled in RVs before. We rented them, and we did use the crates. And that was very nice in keeping the dogs a little more secure. We let them have free run this time, primarily to let them get used to the RV.
Right.
And keep in mind that the crate is only as good as it is secured.
Right.
So that's why we're talking about taking the sofa portion
Cushions
off,
off.
the cushions off, so we could secure down
Right.
the crates
Right.
for that.
And one trip that we was about 2,000 miles, a little more than 2,000 miles to Greeley and back.
Oh, yeah.
We had the crates stacked, and we'd let 1 or 2 dogs out at a time to stretch their legs and relax, but then they were in the crates. That is more secure. It's probably not as much fun, but it's more secure.
Yeah,
But for the most part, the dogs slept anyway.
Yeah, I would say they got used to it.
Yeah.
We had a routine. We just kind of circulated dogs who
Yeah.
stayed in, who came out, and they were fine.
Yeah. And even on this trip, they just found a spot and hankered.
Yeah,
All
they did.
except Quill.
Quill was the only dog, my little Jack Russell Terrier, who did not enjoy the idea of a house on wheels.
Yes.
All the other dogs went, cool, house on wheels, well, right.
Road trip on a couch. Cool.
Quill said, we're having a California earthquake, we're all going to die. He said that every mile. Now, putting him in the crate halved his tension.
Yes.
It didn't eliminate it, but it took
Yes.
him down.
Yeah.
And he did actually fall asleep a couple times in the crate. Not for a long time.
Right.
If there was a noise, he popped back up again. But he did feel a little better. And of course, she had the big nest of blankies, so he was as uncomfortable as he wanted to make himself.
Right.
Which is another example of improper socialization before a dog reaches the age of 4 to 6 months. But that's
Sure.
a topic for another podcast.
Yes, yes.
But yes, he did not have enough novice new things happen to him when he
As
was
a puppy. Yeah.
before I got him.
Yeah.
So every little thing sets him off. He does
Yeah.
not have the ability to adjust. So we will be working on that for future trips.
Yep. And actually, we'll probably make a couple of short runs with him in the RV, maybe with a couple of mine that are very comfortable, and we'll just take a couple hours here or there and maybe give him a little Benadryl the first couple times to...
Better living through drugs for a while.
to calm him down, to relax him a little bit so he doesn't panic as much.
So he can enjoy it. Yep.
Maybe a little rescue remedy.
Yep.
Yeah, something.
I'll do it all.
Let's see, some other things we did. We put in a leash hanger so that the leashes were right next to the door. And we planned that ahead of time, and actually that was perfect.
Oh, yeah, worked out
There
great.
was no looking for a leash. Oh, my God, where did I drop it? The leashes were right there.
I've always enjoyed that our dogs have a good wait at the door.
Oh, yeah.
So the door goes open. Oh, gosh. At one point in the trip, while we had just stopped, and then we started moving again, we ran around the corner, and the door on the RV flew open.
That needs good lubrication before we
Yeah,
go, so
we're gonna make sure
it
that's
clicks
where it
really
clicks,
well.
Which was, it. But thinking back on it, all the dogs just laid there and went, door's open.
Nobody dashed.
Nobody dashed
Oh,
for
my
that
God.
door
That,
in the middle of traffic.
That could have been horrendous.
And Petra was the heroine. She went, and ran over there and leaned out and grabbed the door and slammed it shut and said,
Yeah, pretty much.
"What happened?"
Yeah, that was...
I think I was driving that
Yeah,
time,
you
wasn't
were.
I?
Yeah, you were driving. Yeah.
So not one of the usual reasons why we recommend having a good wait at the door, but it was another occasion when it helped.
Emergencies happen, yeah. The other thing is we always had potty bags for
Yeah.
the dogs. How many times did we see dog poop where it shouldn't have been? I know there were several times I picked up other dog owners'
Yep.
dogs' poop.
One thing about having little dogs is I usually have room left over in the bag to do a little bit more.
Well,
looking
I
around.
always-
And the shame of it is that I can find more when you look
there's...
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people, when you travel with your dogs,
Pick up
I don't
after
care
'em.
how organic you think it is. Pick it up.
Just nasty.
It is. It's just nasty. One other thing that we had in the RV, which Petra, your folks had, but I had already thought about it, was having a thermometer that shows you not just what the temperature is, but the highest temperature it got, how hot it is outside, one of the weather station type thermometers.
Yeah.
And that was great because a couple times when we went into a restaurant or we went into a store, we could come back to the RV and see exactly how warm it was, how warm it had gotten. And
It worked out great. I mean, it was luckily we didn't travel where it was any hot weather, but it stayed cool. Dogs
it
were
was very
comfortable.
nice.
This was a very good shakedown experiment.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to leave them knowing that they were in a large area that was cooled, that there was a vent.
Room for them to move around so nobody was bouncing on top of each other.
Wasn't hot enough to
No.
feel like turning on the generator and the air conditioning.
Right.
But to have the confirmation
Right.
that it stayed nice
Yeah.
and cool in there.
Yes.
And of course, we're still nervous. We're not doing it for very long.
Oh,
We're
no.
checking on them. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Good.
out of all the pros and cons about traveling in an RV with dogs, that's definitely one of the pros.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think the joke was for a few people, like, have everybody try to break into that RV with dogs. Go right ahead.
We had the early warning system with the little dogs, and when we had the backup patrolmen
Yeah.
with the big dogs.
And especially my 9-year-old who thinks he's in charge of anything and everything. And it would be, don't you touch one of my little friends.
Right.
Let's see. And then in the trip itself, I think one of the nice things that it took a little bit into the trip to figure out, for the dogs to figure out, but that they were to listen to their owner. So
Right,
if
when
I
leaving
was
the door.
leashing my dogs to come out, everybody else wasn't to dash,
Right.
and vice versa. And that was hard because everybody lined up at the door, shoulder to shoulder. My turn to come out. My turn.
And that was actually kind of funny. It's like 7 dogs, little ones in between legs, all at the door,
Right.
trying to come out.
Oh,
Like,
call my name.
Yeah.
And then, like Liz would leash up hers and
Yeah.
then say, okay. And the others would go, yeah, she said okay. And then they get yelled at and they'd have to go back in and wait. So it took a couple of stops, but they
But they
actually
were
learned.
figuring out.
They
Yeah.
did.
Listen to the appropriate voice.
They were doing good waits, They just were taking universal okay releases
Right.
to mean everybody.
Yes.
And then it's also good that they really understand each of the individual names, because,
Right.
you know, so I was able to, Keely the Palm, and then Rio the Aussie, there's times he's just a knucklehead, and he'll land on her. So see, the Rio, wait, Keely, come here, then Rio, come. That was also nice to have with all of them.
To be able to tell individual dogs
Individual
as well
dogs.
as family dogs.
Yep.
I was proud of their training
Yes.
overall.
Yeah, they did really good.
Oh,
And
yes.
we just found a few little spots that we could sharpen up or adapt to that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I think we can work on with, especially with a couple of them, is the barking in the RV.
Yes.
We don't want it to be a problem with barking in the RV. And all of them barked it one or more times.
Oh, yeah.
From the questioning woof to the don't you dare leave me. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, but Keely.
Oh, that was my dog. All right. Yeah.
She does make her feelings known.
Yes, she might be little, but damn it, she will be heard.
But at least we verified that she didn't continue. As once you're out of sight,
Then she's quiet.
Then
she
she
just
stops.
pouts.
Yeah, she stops.
Until we could tell how, because usually when we were walking back to the RV, we would be chatting, and we could see exactly when they could hear us.
Yeah. Yeah. And the RV erupted.
Yeah. Yeah.
ah, they're back. Well, and the little ones had the advantage of having better lookout positions
Yes, yes.
to see us coming back.
Well, usually the big dogs were crashed. It
Yeah.
was the little ones that were going,
Yeah.
where are they, where are they, where are they, where they are.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yes, if we park in closer quarters to places, we'll have to work on keeping them quiet in between.
Yeah,
But we can do
it's a skill they can learn.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a new house on wheels. So,
That was part of it. We're going to protect our house on wheels.
oh yeah, definitely. Well, the one time when we came back to it and the truck had pulled up near the RV and he was working on the truck, that was not allowed.
He was within the perimeter zone.
And that was on our way home, so they had claimed the RV by then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Officially they're home.
Yep. Some things we're going to work on besides working on the quiet. We need to work on the screens.
Yes. After one trip away from the RV for lunch, I think, we came back to find that somebody had been working on the screen, and there was a little pulling it away from the rubber gasket that seals the screen.
And I think it slid. I think that
And,
one slides,
yes, that
which I
you
guess
can
we didn't
slide.
know till somebody showed us.
That they were starting to slide it. So I want to replace the traditional screens that's in there with the pet morph.
Right, because the screens that are in there are the nylon.
Yeah, the regular.
Right.
So the pet screens are a little heavier duty, but they also give before popping.
Yeah. I have a few of my windows with those already
Okay.
replaced.
And then also look at some way to block it from sliding.
Yeah.
Since somebody's nose kind of pushed it.
Where maybe something in the track or one of the locks from the outside. Something.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody pushed it, Walter. Why did I think it was my dog? I don't know. Because, Walter.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
All
He's
right,
a
well,
problem solver.
We need to take a break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk some more about an RV trip.
Sit. Stay. It's a doggy dog world. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Dyson.
The new Dyson Animal Vacs are powerful bagless upright vacuums for homes with pets. Air muscle and radio root cyclone technology generates the strongest suction power to powerfully remove dust, dirt, and pet hair from the home or car. To order your Dyson Animal Vac, go to DysonDeals.com. DysonDeals.com to order your Dyson Animal Vac today.
Dyson. Music to your ears.
I'm not much of a reader, but I do wish I were more well-read.
There are so many great books coming out. I wish I could find a way to keep up.
Audible.com makes it easy to stay well informed and catch up on your reading simply by listening. Audiobooks from Audible turn downtime into uptime. You'll be more productive and become well-read.
Now I'm able to catch up on all the great books I've been wanting to read.
With Audible, I feel smarter.
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Werber from Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff here on Pet Life Radio. We want to hear from you. Listen in. We're on every Thursday, 1 o'clock Pacific Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time here on PetLifeRadio.com. We are one of the only live shows on Pet Life Radio, and I'm here to answer your questions. So you can call in at 877-385-8882, or you can drop me an email to drjeff@PetLifeRadio.com, and hopefully we'll see you here on Thursdays.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. Our RV trip was about 600 miles. We made several stops in between, which was really nice. We'd take the dogs out for walks or stop for a meal here or there.
I think we should confess that we didn't give it a full-on out try.
No, we didn't sleep in it this time because we already had hotel reservations.
At a wonderful hotel that we love to go to.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
we love that place.
Right on the beach overlooking the ocean. Okay,
Right,
but anyway.
so we weren't going to cancel that.
No.
But except for sleeping in it and cooking in it, this was the test run.
Right.
This was introducing the dogs. This was learning how to pack it.
We learned to use the latrine.
The latrine, the restroom.
How? Oh my goodness. How technical of you.
Petra learned how to use it
While moving.
while moving.
You know, and you might complain because it's so tiny, but
It also gives you very little room to be thrown around.
that was, I was so thankful. And Liz was driving.
Again.
You can actually race from wall to wall very easily.
We were going to
I'm
get...
not complaining how small that thing is anymore.
We were going to get backed into, and I had to get out of the way.
And at that time, I really had to use the bathroom. The latrine.
Now, another thing we learned, however. Now, the dogs were very comfortable running around the RV while stopped and parked.
Right.
The latrine was in the back quarter of the RV.
Yes.
And so when Petra went back there, so did her dog.
Rio, the
One of them.
Aussie.
The Aussie, the big boy. And then when she came out of the latrine, I just like saying that word.
Bathroom. Bathroom.
Bathroom.
I mean, it's like a porta potty, but a latrine just makes it sound a little nicer.
Okay.
Yeah. Classier.
So the bathroom is between the kitchen and living room area and the bedrooms.
Right.
And so from the latrine forward is bathroom is linoleum.
Right.
But there's rugs, carpeting.
Front and back.
Carpeting in the very front and in the very back. Okay, so I got the situation here is that Rio, the Aussie, had followed Petra back, and then she came out and was walking forward while the RV was moving. And all of a sudden, Rio... Well, no, and then the door flew open, and you had to save us all.
Yes.
And then you made it back up to the seat, and we all took a deep breath, and then we heard a scream.
A heart-rending, horrible, panicky... my throat's been slit scream. And I'm driving.
and somebody's pulling out every toenail one by one at the same time.
And of course, at that moment, we had no idea who it was or why.
Well, because we were driving at night.
Yeah.
Liz was driving,
Black
Petra was
Tri,
up front.
and it's the back end of the RV, and we had no lights on.
So I jumped up and flew back there to find Rio braced against the bed on the carpet, totally afraid of walking on the linoleum while the RV was moving.
Yeah.
And his mom had been back there and walked up front, and he was abandoned.
And I couldn't really blame the boy. What if he had tried to do it and got tossed around and the door fell open again? He had seen the door fall open. He knew it wasn't safe. So he was back there screaming. Now, once I put a hand on his collar and walked with him, he was like, okay, thank you. But
And then he came and found me, and he was like, Doss lost his mind.
Yes.
Oh my
God, you were lost.
I was never going to see you again, ever.
You know, it probably didn't help any, because while I was being tossed around in the latrine, I was like, woo! Woo! Wait! Whoa! Yahoo!
that box? Did you hear her in
That's
that
probably
box?
why Rio went back there anyway, to save you.
I was home.
And then you left him there, stranded on the shore of linoleum. He had us on the little raft of carpet, but ocean of linoleum.
My poor boy. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Well, we do love Rio, but he's not the sharpest pencil in the box.
No, I never said he was.
Yeah, there we go.
He just makes
So
me laugh.
anyway, we have discovered. I don't think the other dogs had an issue with it.
No, in fact, Bashir would go walk back there, even while we were moving, get a drink of water and walk back.
They all were probably giggling at Rio.
No, I think they were all staring at him going, what the hell? What's with the screaming?
Come on, Nimrod.
Come to think of it now, we'll have to experiment whether it was just the combination of mom screaming in the box, the door flying open, it was at night.
Or just the linoleum.
Or just the linoleum.
Or all of the above.
I don't know. He's been in and out since then.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The novelty of it all.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
But it did make all of our hearts pound for a second.
Yeah.
The other thing that we changed on the way home from the way up is at one point during the trip, several of the dogs were having trouble getting comfy. Several were moving around here and there, so I put the dinette table down and the cushions across and gave them a bigger area to lay on. And that seemed to work out really well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I took a nap on it.
For Kate to lay down with whatever dogs
or
fit.
whomever. But it did create more cushion room.
Yes.
And I think that's a good idea for future trips. Put a blanket over it, of course, to protect it a little bit. But that worked really well.
That was nice.
And then one thing you were going to work on is you found yourself a noise machine, a sound machine.
Well, I discovered, so we had reservations at the lovely hotel and a friend that was there, and she had to leave a day early. So I made a big deal about breaking up with Liz, not sharing her room with her.
Hurt my feelings.
But I think we were yelling at you on the way out. Get out! How dare you!
Yeah. Making a scene for everybody to see.
As we're giggling.
But it was, it was kind of hard to resist having my own fireplace and bubble bathtub.
Yeah.
Which I did use the bathtub. Anyway. And to have my two boys in the hotel room with just me alone.
Yeah.
Because we haven't traveled, just the two of them and me.
Right.
It's always been with Liz and Bashir and the other dogs.
Mm-hmm. And Bashir is the oldest, and the younger ones do tend to look at him as the
Well, and he and Walter are only a month apart in age, but Bashir is the more mature.
Stable?
More level-headed.
Level-headed, there we go.
He is Walter's security blanket.
Yes, which we found in a couple instances on this trip, which was different.
But after trying to take a room of our own, I learned a lot of stuff. I learned that my two boys on their own went, "What was that? What was that? What was that?" A whole heck of a lot more than they did in a room full with the other dogs. Because Walter might go, "Woof," but if nobody else said anything, he'd go back. But when it was just him and his brother, he'd say woof, and his brother would say, "Did you hear something? I heard something too."
There's aliens at the gate.
And they were driving me crazy until I finally turned on the TV, which I didn't have on at all, and just put it on just barely low white noise. And I left it on all night long, and that was able to settle them down.
Yeah.
So I learned something about keeping them quiet in a hotel room. And then today when I was doing my thrift store sailing, I love Goodwill and thrift stores and just the wonderful stuff you can find.
You know every thrift store in town,
I was just going to say she knows of more thrift stores than
and surrounding towns.
Anybody else.
Well, probably within a 40-mile radius.
And when we go, it'll be interesting when we're going on a long trip because she seems to smell them out. I don't know how she does it. Just look, there's one.
Thankfully, we have lots of storage room in the basement of the RV.
Yes. We'll have to make sure we keep one empty.
So normally I would not pay any attention to a sound machine at the Goodwill, but I saw one today for $6, and it's a Brookstone, and I said, "Hey, what the heck?" So I got it. I'm going to try it, both in the RV, and I am actually making a trip where my boys and I will be in a hotel room by ourselves. So, and this is pretty rustic cabin, so I'm not even sure there is a TV.
Oh,
so I'm going to use this and see if this helps them calm down in a room by themselves. Exactly.
Yep.
So just a little background noise. Mm-hmm. I mean, I realized also at my home, my roommate has the TV on almost all the time. So that's part of, they're also used to a lot of background noise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I tend not to, but anyway. Yeah. Well, now I've got something to play.
I enjoy the quiet.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so when I first moved into when Liz and I first broke up, and I went to the other room.
And I stayed and was just my dogs and myself.
First thing I did was like, cool, and I jumped up on the bed and grabbed my book and I started reading, and then they wouldn't settle down. They were driving me crazy. So I had to find just enough noise to keep them from going off, but not bugging me.
Sure.
So now I'll try a variety of tropical rainforests and waterfalls and...
And how often do you have to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, exactly.
Or the latrine. But I'm not going to use the heartbeat one at night. I read Edgar Allan Poe too many times.
Yeah.
And it's too weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That would not make me go to sleep.
No,
anyway.
I'd be waiting for the bad guy.
Yeah. Telltale heart. So I think one of the fun things about traveling is not only seeing new places, but we've been there a couple of times, is learning more about yourself and your traveling companions, whether you break up with them or help them across the linoleum.
You know, and when they break up with me, they can walk home. And every trip is different.
Yeah.
You know, different things happen.
Different times of the year, different people you meet.
Different reactions.
I'm expecting that on our next trip. It's much longer, but we're going to see different weather.
So much.
Different region of the country.
Different region, and when it rains, rain on a tin can. It's going to be noisy. I mean, then what are the dogs going to do? You know,
I love a rainy night.
Yeah, we'll love it. We're just going to enjoy it.
I'm going to,
you know.
It'll be interesting to see if that's white noise or if the dog's free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, DAP
more
collars.
More adventures to come.
DAP collars, thunder shirts, bench grill. We got
rescue remedy. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm actually not concerned about any of the three of mine. They
take things in stride.
Yeah. And actually, this was Bones' first trip, other than his second trip. He had one trip earlier this year. His first trip in the RV, like all of them, but his first
took
long
it
trip.
Very much in stride.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Cool, new adventure, house on wheels." Yeah, right. I was very happy with him. Bashir's a seasoned traveler. He's traveled a lot.
That is a reminder, because Walter doesn't mind rain, but he hates thunder. So I'm going to bring his thunder shirt. I might try a thunder shirt on Quill.
Yeah.
Oh,
good idea.
That's a very good
traveling.
idea. Mm-hmm.
See if that helps him.
Yeah.
We use all
the tools
that are disposable. At our disposal, and see which one works.
Yeah, mine too. I'm not concerned with.
No.
They're fine.
The only time
as long as we're not moving in the linoleum as in between us, we'll be fine.
Should I get a non-skid carpet runner?
Maybe a runner, so in case he gets stranded on the other side of the island.
Yes, at the most 5 feet.
5 feet, but it was the Pacific Ocean. And it was the Pacific Ocean covered in ice.
I have never heard Rio scream like that. His heart was broken.
I've never heard any scream from a dog that did not involve physical injury.
Yeah,
right.
Like that. Yeah. That was on its own.
I was sure somebody was impaled back there. And
we had to take a head count. What dog?
Right, who was it?
Where are
and
they?
Meanwhile, did we tell you I'm driving?
Watch the road. I'll take care of it. I don't know what it is, but watch the road.
Oh, dear.
Crazy.
Oh, well, on that note, we'll let you go.
But it was a good trip.
It was a good trip. It was a lot of fun. I think all three of us are convinced that RV travel can be awesome.
Yep.
Especially when you're traveling with dogs. And in a few months, we'll get back to you and let you know how the 3,000-mile trip and whether any of the three of us are talking.
It'll be Liz introducing my friend and not my friend.
Oh, who will it be? Stay tuned for the next episode.
Well, who broke up with me this time?
Yeah. You heartbreaker, you.
And on that note, we'll let you go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding. Every week, on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.